Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a great kingdom. The king and queen of this kingdom longed for a beautiful baby girl. One winter day, as snowflakes gently floated down from the sky, the queen sat by her window sewing. She gazed outside at the pristine white snow and thought about how beautiful and pure it was. Suddenly, she pricked her finger with her needle, and a drop of blood fell onto the white snow. The queen wished, "Oh, how I wish for a daughter with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as the night." And her wish came true. Not long after, a beautiful baby girl was born, and the king and queen named her Snow White. Sadly, when Snow White was still very young, her mother fell ill and passed away. The king was heartbroken, but he remarried to ensure Snow White would have a good upbringing. The new queen, however, was wicked and jealous. As Snow White grew older, she became even more beautiful. Every day, the new queen would ask her magical mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" The mirror always replied, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." That is until Snow White grew up. One day, the mirror said that Snow White was the most beautiful. The queen was furious with jealousy and summoned a huntsman. "Take Snow White into the forest and make sure she never returns," she ordered. But the huntsman couldn't bear to harm the innocent and beautiful Snow White, so he let her go free in the forest. As Snow White wandered through the forest, she came across a tiny cottage. This cottage belonged to 7 super dwarfs: wise, happy, grumpy, sleepy, cheerful, bashful, and curious. Snow White met the dwarfs and moved in with them. While the dwarfs worked in the mine during the day, Snow White cleaned the cottage and cooked meals. They all lived happily together until the wicked queen discovered that Snow White was still alive. Determined to finish the job herself, she prepared a poisoned apple. Disguised as an old woman, the queen visited the cottage and offered Snow White the poisoned apple. "This apple is for a beautiful princess like you," she said. Snow White took a bite of the apple and instantly fell to the ground. When the dwarfs returned home, they found Snow White lying there and were heartbroken. They placed her in a glass coffin and took her deep into the forest. Days and weeks passed, and one day, a handsome prince was passing through the forest when he saw Snow White in her glass coffin. Captivated by her beauty, he kissed her. At that moment, Snow White opened her eyes and woke up. The prince and Snow White fell in love and lived happily ever after.